For example, when reading the scriptures, we can see that the Buddha definitely had a sense of humour. So that's all plenty. To what extent does humour have a place, if any, in the spiritual life? Is humour discussed in Abhidharma? That's a separate mental event, for instance. Thirdly, is laughter unskillful? And fourthly, is there anything funny about Buddhahood?
Well, let's go through those one by one.
To what extent does humour have a place, if any, in the spiritual life?
Humour have a place in the spiritual life. I wonder if anybody has read The Name of the Rose? That question arises there, doesn't it? Whether humour, whether comedy, has a place in the spiritual life. It doesn't quite arise in that form, but whether comedy is not incompatible with Christianity, or whether comedy, it was probably understood, would not even be the end of Christianity. The whole plot of this medieval thriller, it's a very philosophical medieval thriller, by an Italian writer, hinges on that point, and also the lost second half of Aristotle's Poetics, which is on comedy, comes into it. But yes, well, apparently one of the leading characters in the book takes the view that comedy really is not only incompatible with Christianity, but a menace to it, and had better be suppressed. Jesus was a man of sorrows and acquainted with grief, and he never smiled. It's sometimes been remarked that in the Gospels we're told that Jesus wept, but we're never told that Jesus laughed. We're certainly not told that the Buddha wept, certainly not when he was the Buddha, but we are told that he smiled on many occasions. So it does seem that he had a sense of humour, but it was a subtle sense of humour, not unlike, I think rather, the sense of humour of Socrates. He had a sense of irony, perhaps, rather than a sense of humour in the strict sense. It was a subtle sense of humour, at least one might say. I would say a sense of humour in this sense is the expression of a perception of incongruity, and in a way, therefore, of a sense of proportion. So I think every sane person, in as much as every sane person, has a sense of proportion, has this subtle sense of humour, this sense of irony. I think that's a quite different thing, from a sense of humour in the musical sense, let us say. Some people, if they see a fat man slipping on a banana skin, they laugh uproariously. They think this is absolutely so funny. They can't contain themselves. But that is humour in a rather different sense. Not perhaps a very positive sense, because someone might be getting hurt. So I would say that yes, a sense of humour is definitely a part of the spiritual life, in the same way that sanity, in the same way that a sense of proportion is a part of the spiritual life, and in that sense it's certainly found in Buddhism.